So there have been plenty of times where I would be so motivated at night for all the things I could accomplish, all the different goals that I had, and then the next morning it's just gone. And I've always wondered why? Why does that happen? And I realized that I am not alone. So this video, I did a little bit of research to see the reasons why. So with that, let's get into the video. So the first part we have to talk about is why exactly do we get so motivated at night? And there are a couple of reasons. So the first one is you're more relaxed at night. So usually at nighttime, unless you have some type of night shift at a job, you're usually done with work. You're starting to calm down, to relax. If you have any work left, you're more than likely going to be like, I'll just push it to tomorrow because it's too late. And so with that, you're just going to relax more and more. So you kick back and unwind. Maybe you do something fun with friends and family. Even if you are stressed from the day's events, you're more than likely decompressing because you are shortly going to go to bed. Now you stop focusing on all of those daily things that you've been thinking about throughout the day, and you just let your mind run free. And then you start getting pumped about the things you want to get done in the future. So reason number 2 is it is fun to think of ideas when you don't have to do them until later. When you are close to going to bed, you are likely to give yourself some type of permission to get whatever in your mind done the very next day. So this mentality frees your mind to think of ideas without exactly thinking of how to execute those ideas. And so you stop worrying about, the obstacles that idea may have or how exactly it's supposed to be executed. And then you just start to think of all the things that you could possibly do the next day. And it is a lot of fun to think of doing things, especially when you don't have to do it right then and there. And it's especially fun if, you're not thinking of how exactly you're going to execute it, what you need, what type of work you need to put into doing that, and etc. And so reason number 3 is you bias your present self over your future self. At night, sometimes you create this distance between 2 different versions of yourself, and that is your present self and your future self. And so your present self is who is currently living in the night. So it's basically just you right now, laying down, thinking of what you're going to do the next day. And your future self is the person that you will be tomorrow when you wake up. And so you start to create this distance between your present self and your future self. Your present self doesn't have to do any work at the moment. You can think of all the fun ideas you want because it's not your present self that has to worry about that right now. It's your future self. Now your future self has to do all the work, but your present self doesn't care because it won't have to worry about doing that type of work until an X amount of time. The biasing of your present self over your future self is actually called present bias. And this is something that most people experience at some point or another. Most people end up favoring their present self over their future self. And so as a result, they end up planning way more than they can possibly handle in the future. And so with that, let's get into why you may lose motivation in the morning. And so reason number 1 is thinking is easier than doing. It's one thing to say that you're going to do something. It's a whole other matter completely when you actually have to do it. When you wake up in the morning, you're suddenly facing the realization of all the things that you have planned. And you realize that it's not as easy as you thought it would be because now you have to execute those ideas. It's much more difficult than you previously anticipated. Reason number 2 could be that your night plans may overwhelm you the next day. So let's say the night before, you have a whole entire list of the most elaborate things you're going to do the next day. You just have a long list of things to do. And when you wake up, you see all that on the list and you get really, really overwhelmed. But when you wake up next morning, you start to realize how unrealistic those things are, especially to do it all in one day. And so you get really overwhelmed. And when you get really, really overwhelmed, especially right in the morning, all that motivation is just going to go out the door. And so then you're not motivated to do any of the things, which may be another reason why you are losing motivation in the morning. So number 3 could be you like the idea of the plans, but not the details. A lot of times during the planning phase, people tend to not be as specific as they need to be on the details of whatever goal you want to accomplish. And because you aren't thinking of the particular steps that are involved in the idea in itself just seems a lot more doable than the steps do. So let's say, for example, you want to learn how to play the piano. Let's say you want to learn how to play piano the night before. You are thinking of the idea of playing the piano. You playing the piano very well, like showing off to your friends and family, and so forth. And the idea of that gets you excited and gets you motivated and ready to go. But you aren't thinking about the steps and details. And so the next morning you wake up and you realize, oh wait, what type of keyboard should I get? Where should I get lessons from? Should I teach this myself? Should I get an online teacher? Should I do it in person? How much is this going to cost? And then you start thinking of all of these questions, and it's going to overwhelm you because you're not going to know where to start because you haven't thought of what to do beforehand. You know, the night before you thought about all the awesome outcomes of the idea, but not the details of actually executing that. When you're motivated at night but not in the morning, what is really going on is that you are having difficulties following through with your goals. And so the next question that may pop up is, how exactly do I follow through with my goals? And that will be one of the topics of one of my future videos. I'm not trying to make this video too long for you guys, so that will be in one of my future videos. Make sure you stay tuned if you want to learn more about that. So thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. In the comments below, let me know what you think. Have you ever been one of those people that gets super motivated at night but lose it all in the morning? And lastly, if you're new here, make sure you click the subscribe button because I am here each and every week to bring you a video so that we can unlock our minds and unleash our inner potential. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!